Silva Mind Control Method. Chapter 4, Dynamic Meditation. Passive meditation, which you just read about in Chapter 3, and which I hope you have tried, can be achieved in other ways. Instead of concentrating on a visual image, you can concentrate on a sound, such as OM or one or amen, made out loud or mentally, or even as you breathe. You can focus on an energy point in the body, or on a monotonous drum dance-like rhythm, or listen to a sonorous Gregorian chant while watching a majestic performance of a religious rite. All of these methods, and some combinations of them practiced, will lead you to a calm level of meditation. I prefer to count down for you to get to that level, because at the beginning, it requires a little concentration, and concentration is the key to success. Once you have reached your level several times with this method, the method will become associated in your mind with the successful outcome, and the process will become automatic. Each of the successful results obtained in mind control becomes what we call a reference point. We evoke the previous experience consciously or unconsciously, repeat it, and go from there. Once you have reached the meditative level, it is not enough to just stay there and wait for something to happen. It really is beautiful and calming and does contribute to your health. But these are modest achievements compared to what is possible to achieve. Go beyond this passive meditation. Train your mind for organized and dynamic activities, for which I am convinced the mind was designed. And the results will surprise you. I place a lot of importance on this now, because this is the time for us to go beyond the passive meditation techniques you just read about and learn to use meditation dynamically to solve some problems. Now, you will see why the simple exercise of visualizing an apple, or whatever else you choose, is so important. Now, before you enter the level, think of something pleasant, no matter how trivial, something that happened yesterday or today. Review the event briefly, and then fully enter your mind and project the entire incident on your mental screen. What were the sights, smells, sounds, and feelings you had at that moment? All the details. You will be surprised at the difference between your beta memory of that incident and your alpha memory of it. It's almost as big as the difference between saying the word swim and actually going for a swim. What value does this have? First, it is a stepping stone to something greater. And second, it is useful in itself. Here's how you can use it. Think of something you own that is not lost, but would require a moment of searching to find. Your car keys, maybe. Are they on your nightstand, in your bag, in the car? If you're not sure, enter the level. Go back to the moment you last had them and relive that moment. Now, proceed forward in time, and you will locate them if they are where you left them. If someone else took them, you have another type of problem to solve, which requires much more advanced techniques. Imagine a student who remembers that his teacher said there would be a test this Wednesday. Or did he say next Wednesday? You can clear it up for yourself at the alpha level. These are typical examples of small, everyday problems that this simple meditation technique can solve. Now, we are going to take a giant leap forward. we are going to connect a real event with a desirable one that you imagine, and we will see what happens with the imaginary one. If you operate according to some very simple rules, the imaginary event will become a real event. First law: it is necessary that he have a desire for the event to take place. The first person I see on the street tomorrow will be blowing their nose. This would be such a useless project that your mind will reject it, and it probably won't work. But your boss will be more accommodating. A certain customer will be more receptive to what you are selling. They will find satisfaction in a task that they generally find unpleasant. These prospects may involve a reasonable measure of desire. Second law: you need to encourage the belief that the event can take place. If your customer is too reluctant about the product you sell, you cannot reasonably believe that he will be eager to buy. If you cannot believe within a reasonable range that the event can occur, your mind will work against you. Third law: it is necessary that you have hope that the event will take place. This is a more useful law. The first two are simple and passive. The third introduces a bit of dynamics. It is possible to desire an event, believe that it can happen, and still not hope that it will happen. You want your boss to be in a good mood tomorrow. You know he can be, but you may still be a little far from expecting him to be. This is where mind control and effective visualization come in, as we will see in a moment. Fourth law: you cannot cause a problem. We are not talking about whether it should be done, but about being able to cause it. This is a fundamental law that covers everything. How nice it would be if I could make my boss make a mistake so absurd that he would be fired and his job given to me. When working dynamically at the alpha level, we are in contact with the supreme intelligence, and from such a perspective, it would not be good to wish that on your boss. You can have the boss caught at fault and fired, but you would be doing this entirely on your own and in beta. In alpha, it simply doesn't work. If, at your meditative level, you try to connect intelligence with some kind that is willing to help you in a perverse intrigue, this will be as fruitless as trying to tune a radio to a station that does not exist. Some accuse me of being a very naive and optimistic person at this point. Thousands of people have smiled indulgently as I have spoken of the absolute impossibility of doing harm at the alpha level until they discover it for themselves. There is enough evil on this planet, and we humans perpetrate more than necessary. But this is done at the beta level, not the alpha, nor the theta, and probably not the delta. My research has proven it. I never recommend wasting your time. But if you must see the above for yourself, get on the level and try to give someone a headache. If you visualize this event as vividly as necessary, one or both of these things will happen. You, and not the supposed victim, will suffer the headache, and/or you will immediately exit the alpha level. This does not answer all the questions you may have regarding the good and evil potentials of the mind. There will be more to say later. For now, choose an event that constitutes a solution to a problem, something that you want, believe can happen. And with the following exercise, you will learn to expect it. Here's what you do. Choose a real problem. As an example, let's say your boss has been moody lately. There are 3 things you should follow once you reach your level. Step 1. On your mental screen, relive in detail an event in which the problem manifested itself. Relive it for a moment. Step 2. Gently pan this scene to the right of the screen. Slide on the screen another scene that will take place tomorrow. In this scene, everyone around his boss is happy, and the boss is receiving good news. He's clearly in a better mood now. If you know specifically what was causing the problem, visualize the solution. Visualize it as vividly as you did the problem. Step 3. Now push this scene to the right of the screen and replace it with another one coming from the left. The boss is happy now, as nice as you know he can be. Experience this scene as vividly as if it had actually already happened. Stay with it for a moment and feel it fully. Now, you exit the level by counting from 1 to 5, and you will be wide awake, feeling better than before. You can trust that you have just launched forces that will work in your favor, aimed at giving rise to the event or situation you want. Will this give results invariably, without failure? Obviously not. You will experiment. If, however, here's what you do not give up in your efforts. One of the first sessions of problem-solving meditation will work. When this happens, who's to say it wasn't a coincidence? After all, the event you chose had to be probable enough for you to believe it could materialize. Then, it will work a second time, and a third. The coincidences will accumulate. Abandon your mind control activities, and there will be fewer coincidences. Return to them, and the matches will multiply again. Furthermore, gradually as your ability increases, you will find that you will become more able to believe and expect events that would have been less and less likely. After a while, with practice, the results you achieve will become more and more surprising. As you work through each problem, start by briefly reliving your best previous existence. When an even better successful experience occurs, abandon the previous one and use the best one as a reference point. In this way, you will become better and better. To use a phrase that has especially rich meaning for all of us involved in mind control, Tim Masters, a college student and taxi driver from Fort Lee, New Jersey, uses the time he waits between passengers to meditate. When local business isn't going well, he puts a solution on his mental screen. A person carrying suitcases who wants to travel to Kennedy Airport. The first few times I tried, nothing happened. Then it happened. A man appeared loaded with suitcases who wanted to go to Kennedy Airport. The next time I put this man on my screen, I had that feeling you get when things are working out, and another man appeared going to Kennedy. Works! It's like a streak of good luck that doesn't go away. Before continuing with other exercises and techniques, let me make an observation about something you are probably wondering. Why do we scroll scenes from left to right on our mental screen? I can make note of the question here, but it will be discussed in more detail later. My experiments have shown that the deepest levels of our mind experience time in a flow that goes from left to right. In other words, the future is perceived to our left and the past to our right. The idea of talking about this now is tempting, but there are other things to do before proceeding with this. Watch more videos of the Silva mind control method on our Planeta Libro channel.